You've been told your whole life to care more about your goals, your relationships, your future, as if intensity alone could bend reality into submission. So you do. You try harder. You plan, obsess, overthink, strategize. But the more desperate your energy, the more life pulls away from you.
And it's not because life is cruel, it's because you're trying to wrestle something into place that was never meant to be gripped so tightly. Let me ask you this. Have you ever finally stopped caring about something, and then, boom, it works out? The person calls you back. The opportunity randomly comes through. The pressure lifts, not because you gave up, but because you gave it space. This isn't about apathy, it's about energy. There's a big difference between taking action with calm, grounded energy and acting out of anxious attachment. The universe, life, whatever you believe in, it reads your energy better than your words. When you're tense, desperate, clinging, you're sending a signal that says, I'm not ready. But when you loosen the grip, when you breathe, when you stop needing it so badly and just focus on showing up and letting go, you stop chasing and things start flowing. The most successful people, the most magnetic people, they aren't obsessed. They're dialed in. They care, but they don't cling. And once you embody that, once you truly let go and stop trying to control the outcome, that's when the game changes. You know what's wild? Most of the breakthroughs in life, whether it's clarity, peace, or success, don't come through force. They arrive in the silence, in the moments where you're no longer obsessively checking, tweaking, waiting for the result. They come when your nervous system is finally still enough to receive. Because here's the truth. Most people are not chasing what they want. They're chasing relief. Relief from the anxiety of not having it yet. But if you're only pursuing something to stop feeling uncomfortable, you're not aligned, you're escaping. That kind of energy becomes repellent. People feel it. Opportunities feel it. It's like walking into a room and someone's trying too hard to impress. Even if they say the right words, something feels off. That's what clinging does. It leaks insecurity even when you're saying all the right things. But now imagine this instead. You show up fully. You give your best. You care, but you're unattached. You let the chips fall where they may. And because you're not holding on so tightly, life has room to deliver. This is the paradox most people never figure out. The moment you stop grasping, it shows up. The moment you stop seeking validation, you become magnetic. The moment you stop trying to manipulate every outcome, you finally feel free. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what's yours to do. And trusting that what's meant for you doesn't need to be begged for, chased, or forced. It'll rise up to meet you when your energy is clean enough to receive it. And that kind of detachment, that's where your power lives. You ever notice how the best moments in life never feel forced? Think about it. Your best ideas didn't come when you were grinding your teeth, trying to figure everything out. They came when you were relaxed, walking outside, lying in bed, driving with music on. Something opened up, not because you forced it, but because you weren't trying to. And that same flow applies to everything else. Success, love, healing, peace. None of it arrives when you're desperately holding out your hands, begging. It arrives when you're steady enough to hold space for it. Because needing something too much puts you in a constant state of resistance. Even your brain starts working against you. When you fixate, your focus narrows. Your perception gets distorted. You start missing what's right in front of you. All because you're obsessing over what's not yet in your hands. But when you pull back, not out of apathy, but out of trust, everything shifts. You start noticing more. You become available to more. You start acting from presence instead of panic. And people feel that. Opportunities respond to that. It's like tuning a radio. When you're twisting the dial too hard, everything's just static. But when you gently find the right frequency, the clarity is instant. That's how alignment works. It doesn't respond to tension. It responds to attunement. So maybe the real skill isn't chasing. It's learning how to tune in, how to release the pressure you've placed on the outcome, and focus instead on the signal you're sending out right now. And here's the wild part. Once you're in that space, the things you thought you needed to fight for start making their way to you. Because peace, it's not the result, it's the path. You know what's funny? Most people spend their whole lives chasing peace like it's some distant treasure buried at the end of the map. They'll hustle harder, meditate longer, read more, consume more, constantly thinking that one day they'll feel at ease. That if they just fix this part of themselves, or just achieve that goal, the calm will finally come. But here's the trap. Peace isn't waiting at the finish line. It's not some grand reward for enduring enough chaos. It's not a prize for doing enough healing. Peace is actually the path itself, and you either walk it daily or you don't walk it at all. It's not about having your life put together in perfect rows. It's not about clearing your mind of every thought, every fear, every little doubt. Peace shows up in the small choices you make. It's choosing to stay present when your mind wants to time travel into anxiety. It's not snapping back when someone pushes your buttons. It's letting things be misunderstood instead of exhausting yourself to be seen. It's quiet strength, not loud control. And what really throws people off is that this kind of peace doesn't always feel good in the moment. It can feel unfamiliar, like you're letting go of control, like you're not doing enough, because peace is boring to the part of you that craves drama, chaos, and constant stimulation. That part of you is addicted to problems. It's used to running on adrenaline, not presence. You want to know why life feels lighter when you stop forcing everything? It's because your nervous system stops fighting reality. You start moving in flow, not resistance. You start acting from groundedness, not panic. And from that space, decisions get clearer. People respond differently to you. Opportunities come with less friction. It's not magic, it's alignment. The world wants you tense. It sells you urgency. But when you start choosing peace, not chasing it, something powerful happens. You start seeing clearly what's actually worth your time. You stop over-explaining. You stop begging for attention. You stop needing to prove you're good enough. And ironically, that's when things begin to shift in your favor. Because peace is magnetic. When you're grounded, others feel it. When you're not rushing, you move with precision. When you're not desperate, you make better choices. And the best part, you don't need anything outside of you to begin. It's not a location you arrive at, it's a lens you put on, a posture you move with, a decision you keep choosing. And here's something nobody talks about. The moment you stop trying to win at life, you start living it. Because when you're constantly trying to win, to be right, to be ahead, to be better than who you were yesterday, you're silently telling yourself, who I am right now isn't enough. You're operating from a deficit, from lack. And when everything is built on that quiet self-rejection, even your achievements feel hollow. You'll reach the goal, look around, and feel nothing. Just another mountain to climb, another level to chase, another version of yourself to fix. But when you shift, really shift, and move not from lack, but from wholeness, things start to rewire. You're no longer acting just to escape your current self. You're acting because it aligns with who you already are. You're not running anymore. You're arriving, each moment, fully. And here's where the real gold lies. Peace and fulfillment don't come when everything goes your way. They come when your inner world isn't hijacked by your outer one. When you're no longer controlled by how others see you, or whether things are going according to plan. They come when you stop fighting reality like it's an enemy, and start relating to it like it's a mirror. That's when your energy shifts, and others can feel it. You no longer carry that subtle desperation in your voice. You no longer feel the need to over-explain your worth. You walk into a room and don't shrink or puff up. You just are. And that just being hits harder than anything else, because it's rare. And in a world full of noise, that kind of calm presence is loud. Now think about this. How much of your energy goes into pretending you're okay when you're not? How much goes into maintaining an image? Keeping up? Performing? What if all that effort could go back into simply being? Into creating? Into connecting without needing to impress? When you stop needing everything to go a certain way, you become flexible. And that flexibility is what makes you unshakable. Not because you control outcomes, but because you no longer need to. You're rooted. You're clear. And from there, life stops being something you try to manipulate and starts becoming something you can actually enjoy. Now, here's what's wild. The people who seem to move through life effortlessly, the ones who attract meaningful relationships, opportunities, peace, they're rarely the ones clenching their jaw trying to figure everything out. They're not overanalyzing every move, reading between the lines of every text, or scripting their future down to the second. You'll notice something else instead. They move with a quiet confidence, not because they have all the answers, but because they're okay not having them. It's a different kind of strength, not the loud, forceful kind, but the kind that says, I trust myself enough to be okay, even when I don't know what's next. That mindset, it's magnetic, and it's completely misunderstood, because for years we've been trained to equate success with control. You've got to have the 5-year plan, the vision board, the routine, the schedule, the backup schedule for when the schedule breaks. You've got to always be doing, fixing, planning. Otherwise, you're wasting time, right? You're not wasting time when you slow down. You're listening, you're processing, you're building a deeper relationship with yourself, one where intuition finally has room to speak. And sometimes that silence, that stillness, it's not procrastination, it's alignment. Here's something you might feel but haven't said out loud. The more you force something, the more it resists. The harder you push, the more it slips through your fingers. Why? Because force carries fear. And fear makes everything feel urgent, fragile, unstable. It pollutes your decisions. It turns small moments into emotional landmines. You start overthinking messages, doubting your worth, questioning your path, just because things didn't unfold on your timeline. But what if that delay wasn't a problem? What if it was a filter? Something that removes what doesn't match the real you. So what does can finally get through? See, the truth is, life responds differently when you stop trying to outsmart it and start learning to work with it. When you let go of that anxious grip on the outcome, it doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're stepping out of your own way. You're creating space for things to happen for you, not just because of you. And that space, that's where everything starts to shift. There comes a moment, maybe after a long night, a hard conversation, or a breakdown you didn't see coming, where you realize holding on is actually costing you more than letting go ever could. That kind of grip, it's exhausting. It drains your energy, it shortens your patience, and it blinds you to what's already working in your life. You start obsessing over how things should be, instead of noticing what already is. And while you're trying to force that door open, life is gently showing you an open window right behind you. But you can't see it, because your hands are too busy clenching something that doesn't want to stay. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about releasing the illusion that your worth depends on an outcome. It's about making peace with the present, not because it's perfect, but because your peace is no longer conditional. And the moment you do that, something shifts. Your mind clears, your breath deepens, you walk a little lighter, speak with a little more calm, and suddenly, you're no longer begging life to give you something back. You're meeting it halfway, open-handed. People notice it too. They might not know why, but they feel it. Your presence no longer says, I need something from you. It says, I'm already complete, but if you want to meet me here, you're welcome. That's magnetic. That's where things begin to flow, because you've stopped running. You've stopped clinging. You've stopped overthinking every detail. And that space, that silence, becomes fertile ground. That's where your next chapter begins. So take a second and breathe. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that's holding me back? Really sit with it. And maybe, just maybe, today is the day you loosen your grip. Not to lose something, but to finally let it evolve. If this message made something click for you, if it felt like the universe was nudging you in a moment you needed it most, I'd love for you to drop the word unfold in the comments. Because that's what this journey really is, an unfolding. And if you're on that path, learning, healing, letting go, and stepping into something real, then you belong here. Hit that subscribe button and join the tribe. We're not chasing anymore. We're aligning. You're not alone on this path. And trust me, the best part happens when you finally stop forcing it. I'll see you in the next one.